In this particular video, we will look into the details of plants which are called as pteridophytes. Now, if we talk about evolution, then first we talked about algae. After algae, next came the bryophytes. After bryophytes, next came the pteridophytes, which we will discuss now. Now, after this pteridophytes, there will be gymnosperms, which will come in the evolutionary table, and at last there will be angiosperms or the flowering plants. So, in this particular video, we are looking into the details of pteridophytes. Now, if we talk about the pteridophytes, the habitat in which these are found, then these are found in cool, damp, shady places. Although these pteridophytes can also flourish well in sandy soil conditions. An important point to be considered about pteridophytes is that these are the first terrestrial plants in which vascular tissues came. So, xylem and phloem first came in these pteridophytes. Now, as we know that in members of plant kingdom, there is alternation of generation. In alternation of generation, there can be two phases. The first phase is called as sporophyte and the second phase is called as gametophyte. So, in pteridophytes also, there are two phases, the diploid sporophytic phase and haploid gametophytic phase. Now, in different group of plants, the duration of sporophyte and gametophyte differs. So, if we talk about pteridophytes, then the main plant body or the dominant phase is the sporophytic phase. If we talk about sporophyte, in the case of pteridophyte, it is differentiated into true roots, stem and leaves. These organs possess well differentiated vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem is well present in the sporophyte. Now, if we talk about the condition of leaves over here, there can be cases in which small leaves are present. There can be pteridophytes in which large leaves are present. If the leaves are small, these are called as microphylls, and example in which small leaves or microphylls are present, example is Selaginella. If we talk of the pteridophyte in which large leaf is present, it is called as macrophylls and it is present in the case of ferns. So that means in some pteridophytes it will be microphylls and in some pteridophytes it will be macrophylls. After this, we talk of a structure called as sporophylls. Now, these leaves will have sporangia. Sporangia are the structures which actually have spores inside them, which in fact will have spores inside them. These structures are called as sporangia, and sporangia in the case of pteridophytes, we are referring these as sporophylls. Now, there will be some pteridophytes, some examples of pteridophytes in which these sporophylls or sporangia, these will form compact structures, and those compact structures will be called as strobili or cones. So that means in all pteridophytes, these strobili or cones will not be present. In some pteridophytes, it will be just sporophylls, but in some pteridophytes, sporophylls will form compact structures, and if compact structures are present, then it will be called as strobili or cone. The examples of pteridophytes in which strobili or cones are present, the first example is Selaginella and the second example is Equisetum. Now, talking about these sporangia, sporangia in fact will have spore mother cells. Now, these spore mother cells will produce the haploid spores by the process of meiosis. So, if we look into all the parts, so largest part if strobili is present, so it will be the largest part. Now, strobili will be the compact structure formed of sporophylls. So, inside strobili, there will be sporophylls or sporangia. Inside these sporophyll or sporangia, there will be cells which will be called as spore mother cells. Now, in these cells, meiosis will occur, and it will result into the formation of haploid spores. So this is actually the sporophyte phase of pteridophytes. Now, in this phase, the last thing which was formed was spores. Now, these haploid spores, if these germinate, then these will give rise to gametophyte, and the body of gametophyte will be thalloid and it will be referred to as prothallus. Now, talking about the specialities of this gametophyte, which is called prothallus, it is a small structure. We can say it is inconspicuous. It is a multicellular structure. Important thing is that gametophyte is free living and it is mostly photosynthetic. Now, gametophyte phase, which is present in the case of pteridophytes, due to this, the spread of pteridophytes is limited and restricted to a narrow geographical region. It is because this gametophyte will always require cool, damp and shady place to grow. So that is why the gametophyte of pteridophyte cannot survive in places where there is high sunlight conditions. So this is a restriction for the spread of pteridophytes. The second restriction is that it will require water if fertilization has to occur. So due to these two conditions, pteridophytes cannot spread to many geographical areas. Now, if we talk about this gametophyte, it will have male sex organ. The male sex organ will be called as antheridia. There will be female sex organ which will be called as archegonia. The male sex organ or antheridia will produce the haploid antherozoites, and the female sex organ, it will in fact produce the egg. So we can say that gametes, male gametes and female gametes are produced here. As we talked about the need of water for fertilization, so in water, these antherozoids will reach the mouth of archegonium. Archegonium is the female sex organ. Now, this archegonium will have egg. So, now the haploid antherozoid will fuse with the haploid egg and it will result into the formation of diploid zygote. So, we can say that here again the condition from haploid gametophytic haploid phase has converted to diploid zygote. Now this zygote will produce the diploid sporophyte, and again we come to this phase. So we can say that this sporophytic and gametophytic phase will alternate in the case of pteridophytes, and the dominant phase will be sporophyte, which is the diploid phase.